Hello and welcome yourselves to how to speedrun the Angels of the Zariman update. Now you might ask yourself, why would anyone want to speedrun this amazing, beautiful, juicy game? Well, my quite simple answer to you as a player that's been around for quite a long ass time and quite the sharing thoughts of other players. Lots of people think that this update is quite underwhelming. It's very much underwhelming to the point that it's very boring to sit through. So I'm here to tell you which mission to do, what loadout to use for your Warframe and your operator to gain the most optimal results as possible, and how to kill the Void Angels with the least amount of effort that you could put in it essentially ever in a fight. So without further ado, let's get into it. First of all, Warframes, use Yarel. Wait. This can't be right. Hold on. Ah, okay, I see. Use any Warframe that functions. As for myself, I picked Revenant because taking damage is very much not halal, and I want to think as very little as possible in the middle of my missions, so I'd rather just click to and continue onwards. And as for weapons, it doesn't really matter, use whatever you want, everything is usable. But if you really want to not aim, like me, I used the Zar. It's essentially shooting in the general direction of the enemy and just kills him. For Void Angels, use Glaive. You throw it manually aiming at their head, you blow it up, and you just watch them bleed to death essentially. Now let's talk about missions. The best mission to do in order to get the most out of your time is essentially to wait for a bounty that's an extermination mission. It could either be the one where the bounty itself is either finishing the mission in under 5 minutes, or, well, the other one, which is to kill the Void Angel. I highly recommend for you to finish the one with the Void Angel in order to gain the opinions that they drop, since they are quite necessary in order to gain progression for rank 5 of the Syndicate in the Zariman territory, and a lot of weapons really need the opinions in order to craft them. But if you don't care about getting to Syndicate rank 5 with them, or you just straight up don't care about the weapons, you can just do the extermination timer mission, which essentially takes 2 minutes to complete if you're fast enough. As for your operator, I haven't tested much options because I simply cannot be bothered, but it's really hard to top off the results that I already have using the amps and the information that I've gathered throughout the time that I've been playing this update. So starting off with focus schools. Every focus school has been reworked. I used all of them. Seems like Matarai is still the best focus school for dealing damage, and it does that job so well that it just power creeps the other 4 in terms of raw damage output that your operator is able to deal. The general strategy with Matarai when you're fighting Void Angels is just to click your second ability in order to reduce the Void Angel's resistance to your damage output from your operator, and directly after clicking your second ability, you should click your first ability in order to activate that insane modifier that you're able to abuse and just proceed to one-shot the Void Angel by shooting it in the head. And since we're talking about the ethereal Void Angel, I can segue to this. So for some reason, the ethereal Void Angel is flesh-based, so you're completely free to use this arcane right there. Yeah, you see that one? To put it simply, it just makes you deal more damage to their ethereal form. But as everybody knows, not everything is as butterflies and rainbows as it seems. If you equip this arcane, it'll be like 100 times harder to kill the ground units that you kill only exclusively from void damage. For context, you can see the background video. It's probably showing you how I'm suffering to kill one of them. And if that's too much trouble for you to like keep switching arcanes or to deal with that, then you can just use the amp arcane that increases your critical chance when you hit a headshot. Or you can shoot them straight in the head as soon as they get into their ethereal form, and if it crits, it should one-shot them. Should. And before you say it, no, please, I'm begging you, do not use the Shrek Prism. Ever. In the Zariman territory. It is so bad, man, like, it's actually ridiculous. I think it's one of the single worst amps in the game for the Zariman territory. Like, I think the reason that it did so well against Eidolons is because each one of their limbs counts as a separate hitbox, but for the Angels and the ethereal ground units, they just have one hitbox and it just straight up sucks. Really, just please don't use it. As for amp recommendations, I feel like the Raplac is the strongest single target amp in the game, combined with Certus. So to summarize it, for your operator, you would want to use Matarai for your main focus school. Use the Raplac amp combined with the Certus Brace for the highest damage output for criticals. And again, depending on your liking, you can either use the viral damage on your amp, or you can just use the critical chance one, so you can avoid not doing damage for the ethereal ground units. So we've talked about which mission to do to earn as much Void Bloom wells as possible in order to get standings. We've talked about the best way to kill enemies, ethereal enemies and Void Angels alike. So now let's talk about how to rank up the Holdfast Syndicate as fast as possible. First of all, you obviously have your daily limitation depending on your mastery rank, so it doesn't matter what you do, you can't skip over this step. So now that we got the obvious out of the picture, the best way to get Void Plumes, which are the Down, Vein and Crest variants, which you need 5 for the Down variant and 10 for the Vein and Crest respectively. And the best way to obtain these Void Plumes, no matter which variant it is, find a lamp spot, activate it, and the Zariman student child would spawn out of that light, which would proceed to run away from you. So you're now tasked with running after the child until he gets tired, and you can corner him in some kind of corridor, leading him to have no place to go. Wait, what's that noise? Wait.
Hello mortals. From the looks of it, this poor soul was caught lacking and abducted by police. So lucky for you, I'm going to be the one saying goodbyes. Thank you for watching the video. If you liked it, consider subscribing or dropping a like, or don't. I don't really care.